Puss! You get that bit of grass. Oh, the cat's under there grumbling again. Feeding the sod for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Still growls at me. They've been going in there. You see the joint there and the weatherboards near there. That's where the wall was. Go back out again here. They always go and drink milk, and they stand in the milk, and then they go and lick their paws afterwards. That joint you can see there in the weatherboards, that's where that wall was that my uncle didn't bother replacing, and I did. And in there's no skirting boards, and there's a gap where they keep coming up and coming into the house, and then play around with each other and go back down again. They seem to have progressively worked from this part of the house. As time going on, next thing they're coming out this hole, and then out near the middle, and now he's right up the end there. So they're progressively moving around the house. Anyway, can't get little kitty to come out and eat this stuff. They're too busy playing around, but just get some biscuits out there for them. Oh well, give you a little update on the little kittens. That grey one is not a keeper. There's 2 tabbies, 2 black ones with a white patch on the chest, and the grey one with a white patch in the same chest, and it's sort of grey in the same place that the black ones are black. Sort of got the same big white patch on its chest. But anyway, that is definitely not a keeper. Now, the tabby and the black one you saw in the previous video, they're fine. I've never had to pick them up or do anything with them really to tame them. The other black and tabby one, both of those I have picked up individually, of course. And they put on a bit of a carry-on, and then after, giving them a look at and walk around out in the front yard and the birds and, all that, and they're watching the birds moving around, and I'm, patting them and all that, they become reasonably alright. They're still a little bit shy, but they're reasonably alright. They're not going to go spitting and hissing and go crazy sort of thing. That grey one, I've picked it up 3 times, and each time, first time I thought it was fine, it was all right enough when it went back, but it was sort of meowing at me like it wanted to go back more or less the first time. But anyway, since then I've picked it up twice, and every time still going on like a nut. And this time I had it in my room and all that, and oh god, like just hissing and spitting, trying to bite you, and just flaming. You can't pat it, and you go to put it up on your, chest and hold it in your arm or whatever, and it's clawing, blooming, trying to climb up and stand on your shoulder, and just like the whole time it's just hissing, spitting and blooming fear and panic the whole damn time. I don't think it's ever going to be tame, not for anyone, unless you're a blooming cat whisperer or something, I don't even think it's worth giving away, as cute as it is, but but I should have learnt from my love life that the cute ones always reject me, so there you go. I can't keep the grey one as I first intended to. It's sort of funny, the mother cat's completely black, and it's really stinking cold. Never had a cold so long. And anyway, I went and picked the little grey one up for the 3rd time and saw all that sort of crap. And the blooming mother, where it is, there's the 2 the 2 weatherboards missing off the side of the house where it goes down to, basically the floor and then the floor joists and the bottom plate and all that business and the big heavy beam with stumps are on and all that. And I think it might have been someone's idea to keep the mice out of the walls by taking those bottom two off, but it doesn't. I've sort of put it all back on, except in that individual spot, and as a result, they sort of come out where the floor joists are, sort of thing. And anyway, I picked this little grey one up, and it went nuts. And the mum stuck her head out from the floor joist. She rarely ever sticks her head out near me, but she stuck her head out from underneath the floor joist there, and she was growling at me. And then that was about lunchtime, and then the next morning I come out and I poured milk in the saucer, and as I'm pouring the milk in the saucer, I start hearing this growling noise, and I thought, you little bastard. I know as soon as I walk away and hop over the fence, this thing's going to come straight out and start drinking the milk anyway, and often enough it's done it, and it's just drank the whole lot of the milk itself and left the blooming, kittens haven't got any as a result, because she's just took the lot for herself. But the little tabby one that's really friendly, I'm hoping to keep that. You can pick it up and it's got no problems being picked up and everything. It's a really nice little cat. And I think it may be a bit of a glutton. Sits there eating the cat food biscuits today. It was bloody hilarious. And anyway, one of the other tabbies and the black one comes out, and it's sitting there eating the biscuits, but instead of standing on the side, it's actually sitting over the top of the whole little plastic container I put him in. Anyway, I'm sitting there and it's chewing away. Next thing I hear is some noise. I'm thinking, what the hell's that noise? I thought maybe one's got a bad lung or some blooming thing like that. And then I didn't realise what it was. This little kitten, it's only about 6 inches long, was growling at the other two kittens to keep them away from the food. Because it wanted all the cat biscuits for itself. And I didn't realise what it was until the other two started backing off and went back under the floor joist. And I thought, oh, that's what it was. It's because the other little one stopped chewing while it was growling, sort of thing. And so might have a tendency to eat a bit too much, so I'll have to just, feed it accordingly, not just keep pouring it in, because it'll just guts itself and I'll end up with a big fat bloomin' saggy guts bloomin' cat. It's I'd never heard a kitten that young growling before though. It was bloomin' funny. I got in where the solar fridge is. There's another room sort of, to the west of it, I suppose, that I keep a lot of vacuum cleaner and old power tools and the gas fridge that I have but don't really use, and a lot of other random blooming nails, and I got a whole mass of blooming copper cables in there and stuff like that. That wall is... The wall between the two rooms is where the valley gutter was, and it had burst and rotted it all out. And my uncle just chucked it out and just basically put a new beam in underneath, and then just basically whacked a couple of floorboards over the top and just covered it over. And I knew if I got up on the roof and got near there, it would be too weak to hold my weight. So I had to, rebuild the framing where it was supposed to be. And the valley gutter was fixed, shortly after he ripped all that stuff out, but he never bothered reframing that part. So I reframed it so I could get up and fix the roof without going through the roof. But I never really went crazy on it, sort of thing, and went and, put plywood on it and skirting boards in the bottom or anything like that. Anyway, there's a few gaps there, and little Diddums blooming kittens come up through the gaps, and they'll having a look inside the house today, coming up through that gap. But be one coming up, and the other one would be blooming trying to push the other one's head back down. And one stage there's one either side of the gap, and one trying to come up, and there's two kittens are trying to push the other one back down the hole again. Or one will go out down the hole, and the other one will try and push its back down, you know, or whatever, or start clawing it, and blooming funny little things. But yeah, so they've had a bit of a look around the house at all this crap and all this sort of thing, and played around. They do a lot of play fighting. It's quite common for them now. There's a bit of edging, hardwood edging my uncle had, and I've kept it in the veranda just to keep it dry from going rotting, because it's a really long piece. The blooming bit's like, it's just meters long. You know, like it's more than me flipping cars. Like, it's probably about as long as my car is. So I've kept it in there, but it was sitting on a couple of electric motors or some other crap in there, and a few old suitcases or something. And one of them's got this thing where it'll walk along, muck around on the ground, and then it'll sort of be clawing at it, and the next thing it'll be actually hanging upside down with its little claws into this bit of timber edging, sort of walking up and down the length of it, upside down, hanging off it with its back sort of almost rubbing against the ground sort of thing. And then it might be the right way up, and then as it's hanging upside down, the other one will start trying to claw its face or whatever, and they spend a lot of time playing around out there. It's cute watching them all, but often if they see me coming, then it's all, you know, bang under the house, and then they might sort of stick their head out and, you know, see if everything's safe or see what I'm doing or whatever sort of thing. But, yeah.